Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you the difference between my rollerball right here and the less than scrupulous fake Montblanc that I got on eBay that luckily PayPal, after a little bit of arm twisting on my end, was able to protect me with, though they made it a little bit difficult. The point of this is that essentially you can first and foremost sort of know what a fake rollerball looks like compared to a real one. So whether you're in the boardroom or in an office or something, or whether you're purchasing one on eBay or another website besides a Montblanc dealer and you just want to make sure you're protected, this will help you. At the same time, it's sort of going to be a little bit scary how good these knockoffs are, and though you can definitely tell that they're fake, you know, it's sort of weird they can do it this well. The box, for example, it's a pretty good quality box. It even says printed in Germany. Montblanc has a little recycle logo. But as you can see, there's no serial number or sticker of any sort. And this is the actual Bohem pen, which I'm not sure if you know much about, but the box definitely doesn't match the rollerball. So that said, this is the box. We'll go into it a little bit later. And this is the service manual and warranty booklet. Real, fake. As you can see, this has the same design as that box had, but it's actually on here. And at the same time, you can sort of see the quality, especially of colored pictures, is definitely off. You can see it looks like it was printed in the 70s or something. And at the same time, there are definitely a bunch of mistakes in spelling. Hopefully this zooms in properly. Off-prized. See how it's a P instead of an O? Just a good example of that. But if you didn't know much about it, and you didn't bother really reading it, and you just sort of flipped through it, you'd think that number one, Montblanc's printing sort of sucks, and at the same time you'd think this looks pretty good. Now, the actual box is a different story. It's very shoddily put together, though it's actually okay put together. But it's definitely sort of shoddy for Montblanc. You can see that the edges of the box don't really line up. Over here it's sort of coming out a few millimeters, and the gold line is fading all around the place. And it has this sort of sickening crunch sound when you open and close it. But there's no suede, it's more of like a little plastic, and it's been printed and it's sort of off-center, angling up, and it's these little details that make the difference. But it seems the same mechanism in here that you have on a lot of Montblancs is sort of the same. Now, boxes aside, from across the room, these actually sort of look relatively similar. Notice mine is a limited edition, so it has a thicker band up here with the 75 Years of Passion. But on normal Montblanc, you'd have about the same ring size as there. You'd have this ring down here, and not the one above it, as you can see. Now, a few things to make note of. Number one, this has no serial number along this band right here. Number two, when you take it apart, you hear that click. If you've seen the video for this, you hear a very solid thud, and it's almost like a vacuum suction-y feeling when you take this off, because there is in fact a little rubber gasket thing in there that rubs on this and creates a little bit of suction. This does not have that. But the caps aside, the pens actually look pretty identical. You can't really tell anything if they were just using this pen like this. This is definitely much heavier than this one. I would say almost twice as heavy, but then again, that's not going to make too much of a difference. Again, fake and real. I had to just double check for a second to make sure I was doing it correctly. The gold on this is much more yellow, not as toned down, as you can see. This one's definitely higher quality, and when you unscrew it, a spring falls out of the back. The ink doesn't actually screw in there, and you can see this is actually plastic. the screws there are actually plastic. On this, you can hear when you unscrew it, it's a lot more high quality of a sound. No screw in the back, and that's because this actually screws in right inside of there. So there are no screws or anything because everything's being held together by lugs and threads. And you can also see this is actually metal. So the fake ink compared to the real ink. And the other point I'd like to make is, I made this on the other video, you can sort of see, oops, sorry. I hope you can see that little red light coming through there? That's because this resin looks black, but it's actually a very, very, very deep red. Whereas with this, if you try that, oh, nothing comes through because it is in fact just black plastic. So again, the quality makes a big difference in terms of noticing a fake from a real one. But it's definitely a lot of those little smaller things that make a very, very big difference as well. Like the fact that everything on here is plastic, no serial number. I could normally, there we go. You can straight up unscrew the cap and it's just a plastic screw with, you can actually see where they just plugged in the snow into there. So it's definitely much lower quality than a real MontBlanc pen. But that's the end for this video while I put this pen together. And I will show you guys some other videos of, you know, the pens and everything later on as well. See you guys next time.